What's going on, guys? So we're back with episode 4 of season 5 of Samurai Jack. This episode literally starts off exactly from where we left off at the end of 2 weeks ago, because last week they didn't have an episode because of April Fools. They just showed season 3 of Rick and Morty on playback. But now we finally have the new episode. Jack, after falling off of the cliff, is laying down on the ground, and he begins to hallucinate that a female Aku is attacking him, but it's just a hallucination as he wakes up and tries to attack it with nothing there. And then he looks over and finds the girl with blood everywhere, who also fell off the same cliff. And the crows that are all behind him begin to talk to him, which further is proving that Jack is insane, or is at least going crazy, because the crows begin to talk to him, or at least in his mind that he thinks they are, basically just calling him a murderer, saying he's a killer, saying that she's dead and all these people are dead because of him, and he did this and he's horrible for it. And he says, no, they chose this path. This was their fate from the beginning. This is what, this was their destiny. This is the path that was chosen for them. But as he's arguing with the birds, turns out she's actually not dead. She is alive, and she tries to actually attack him, but Jack easily is able to tie her up and dismay her, despite her always continuing to yell at him. But the ground beneath them actually ends up exploding, sending them flying down into this area, which I want to say is I don't even know what this is that they fall into. It looks like they just fall into like some, I don't know, they fall into some, abyss, but it almost looks like a monster's stomach, but it's not. It seems to be some weird abyss that they fall into in between a nook and cranny of a canyon. But anyway, as they're falling, the assassin girl keeps trying to cut up Jack with her weapon, and despite all of this, Jack still is trying as hard as he can to save her, grabs her and scrapes his feet along the side so to slow him down. They finally get down to the bottom, and he sets her down, and she continues to just be like, you stupid samurai, you caused this. Then we get the creatures that we saw from the promo, the bucktooth creatures. And we see Jack chopping them up with he rips off one of their legs, and he just starts chopping them up with it. And we see their blood start to splatter everywhere. And while he's doing this, he's trying to save and protect the girl, but she keeps trying to intervene, and she keeps trying to headbutt him or whatever. We actually get a really funny scene, or at least I thought it was funny, where she's talking mess to him and trying to fight back, and then she ends up getting knocked out because one of the creatures hits her in the head, and Jack turns around and is like, hello? I laughed at that scene a little bit. But they manage to escape, and they run further into this area here, and we actually end up seeing one of the scenes from the opening, where it had Jack just sitting in this area with these weird colors, and the girl wakes up. But Jack is having a vision. Some tiny furball is just basically saying that she's gonna, she's no good, she's gonna turn on him. And then he ends up talking to the older vision of himself once again, and the vision is just telling him, you always do this, you always get into messes that aren't your fault, that don't involve you, you need to not do this. But present Jack responds and says, but this is my fault, they're like this because of me, they're like this because of what Aku has made them, and he's made them because of me. But he realizes that while they're talking, the girl ends up getting kidnapped, and he finally realizes this, and so he goes back and easily dispatches of the thing that was kidnapping her, and then immediately gets her back on his back. And she continues to, despite him saving her, she continues to just bitch at him and say, oh, you're no good, you're evil, you're blah blah blah. And the furball thing keeps saying, look, see, Jack, I told you, she's no good. But they continue to go forward, and she continues to say, Jack, you ruined this land, you're evil, you're this, you're that. And then he finally sets her down and says, enough. I am not the evil, Aku is the evil. The land is like this because of what Aku has done, because of the creatures that Aku has brought here. Everything is like this because of Aku. He's forced you to believe that it was because of me, but that couldn't be further from the truth. She refuses to believe him, of course, but as they're talking, it starts to rain red needles that ends up getting stuck all over their body, and we get a very awkwardly hilarious scene where it's literally like almost a minute long, where it's literally just Jack taking one needle out of his skin, reaching over to her skin and taking out one needle, going back to his, taking out one needle, going over to hers, taking out another needle. I mean, it's not that it's awkward, it's just that it's just kind of like, okay, are we getting anywhere with this? Are they gonna go the whole way? He makes an acupuncture joke, and she doesn't laugh, and he just says, okay. And then they cut, and now they're back on their journey, trying to just get through and out of this abyss wherever they are. He finds a creature, and ends up putting on, like, its little armor stuff. We get another funny scene where he turns around and says, ooh, back hair, I think it looks good. And she says, you look despicable, or you look disgusting, or something like that. And he says, well, despicable to you makes it a compliment for me. And she just scowls, she just scoffs it off. They end up climbing up, and she's still attached to his back. And he looks up and he says, oh, we're almost there. And then she headbutts him and causes him to fall, which, backtracks them a major ton. He gets pissed off and ends up chaining her to his foot as she is just dangling below him. He pulls her up, and now they're up on top, and basically they find all of these creatures. They find all of these creatures that are swimming, but there's hot boiling lava down beneath them. Or, well, not lava, I guess I should say acid. That's what it really is. So what they need to do is they basically need to use these creatures and jump on them and basically reach the top area where there's a light coming out so that they can escape. They finally end up making it to the top. They almost don't, but Jack jump good, what can I say? And they jump out of there alive. They end up landing into the water, and he goes all the way over there, and he's exhausted, and he just sits down. He's sitting down in the grass, but she gets up and finds her weapon, and she tries to attack him. She sneaks up on him and almost is about to attack him until she sees a love bug in the sky, and she flashes back to when she was a little kid and she was being trained by the woman. They find a love bug in their training area, but the woman takes this away from her and says, this is distracting you from Aku's mission. This is distracting you from what Aku believes to be important. But she didn't like that because she obviously loved the love bug. She thought it was very beautiful, and she thought it was very, whatever. She doesn't want to cause harm. Well, then she sees Jack grab the love bug, and it's crawling up and down his hand, and then he just lifts up his hand and causes it to fly away as he's smiling. And then that's when she looks at him, and she just drops her weapon. She sits back down, and then that's it. She sits back down and just stares at him and stares at the love bugs and just is starting to contemplate. This is where I honestly believe that she's going to turn and start fighting with Jack, because I finally am starting to believe that she's finally seeing that Aku isn't this savior that she was grown up and led to believe that he is. I think she's finally realizing that Aku really might be the evil here, and that Jack really is fighting for good. But yeah, that's where the episode ends. Next week we got a sneak preview. I'm seeing we're going to be getting a lot more of Aku. Aku's got a huge part next episode, at least according to the next episode preview. An army is going up to Aku's palace, and Aku tries to handle it himself by fighting them. And we're going to hear a lot more of Greg Baldwin as Aku, which I'm very excited because that review I did of Aku's voice is actually getting a lot of traction. It's currently at 15,000 views, which is actually very good compared to a lot of my recent videos of stuff that I've been kicking out. So I'm very excited to hear a lot more of Greg Baldwin's performance, and I really am excited to hear a lot of his Aku. What did you guys think of this week's episode? Comment down below. And what are y'all's predictions for next week's episode? Go ahead and comment that down below. Please leave a like and subscribe for more content if you're interested. And like always, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.